Welcome back, everybody. Right now we're talking with City Councilor Tom Sullivan, a first-term City Councilor that's running for a second term. Welcome to the program, Attorney Tom Sullivan.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks for having me.
You know, some of the things that when you happen to come onto the City Council, if you could tell us what, let's say we're talking with a lot of the councilors and candidates that happen to be coming on the program today. If you can tell us what you think some of the most compelling factors are that will be confronting the city, that you'll have to be taking some tough votes on.
I think the number one issue will be the hunking school replacement. There's no doubt that everyone understands that we need to replace the school, but there'll be a spirited debate as to what will be the best plan and the best final product and final building. It appears at this point that the most viable option and the least cost option is the K through 8 that would hold 1,005 students on the present site. There have been some concerns about that site suitability of the grounds, but in the presentation made to the council, it's pretty clear that with modern technology and engineering, they'll be able to put a new school on the current ball fields in the front area, and they'll relocate the ball fields to the back area. By doing this plan, they'll be able to also close the Greenleaf School, which is woefully inadequate for the students that go there. If we don't do this plan and Greenleaf School has to remain in circulation, then it'll cost us $11 million additional dollars just to modernize and renovate the Greenleaf School, and that's $11 million that we would have to come up with locally.
Do you know what some of the items are that would be included in that $11 million?
For Greenleaf School?
Yeah.
Starting with handicapped accessibility issues. The school is currently not handicapped accessible. We would need lifts and elevators. All the classrooms would have to be totally gutted, and it's basically a gut job. They'd have to start from scratch because it is such an old building. We really need to put that building out to pasture. The rest of the city has pretty good, excellent to pretty good schools, and really the Bradford district, the hunking district if you want to call it, is the last piece of the puzzle. It's the last school that really needs a replacement, and the students in that area deserve just as nice a school as we have on the other side of the bridge.
I see. When you take a look at some of the expenses that are involved in something of that type, that's not the only focus the City Council is going to be able to have. I mean, we talked about previously with some other folks about how to fund the landfill that's going to be that's necessitated. It's an unfunded mandate, but where do we get the money for something of that type, in your opinion?
The only place to get the money for something like that is to lobby the federal government to, and our federal congressmen and legislators at that level to try to help bail us out in that regard. We cannot raise that type of money locally without cutting and slashing basic services. So I have no problem advocating to our federal legislators to come in and help us with that landfill issue. Otherwise, I fear for the worst in terms of the local impact on our local budget if we have to dedicate all the funds to do it ourselves.
When you take a look at some of the items that have gone on in the past during your tenure as a city council in the past couple of years, when you review that, are there any particular directions that the city council had voted for and gone in that you might want to revisit and perhaps go in a different direction?
No, I actually don't. I think we have a very good council, and we try to work together. I also think we have some great candidates running for council, and that bodes well for the future of the Haverhill City Council. When you look at how the Haverhill City Council functions versus some of our area city councils, and then you look at Congress, who's totally dysfunctional, Haverhill's fortunate to have 9 men and women who are so dedicated to improving the city. I know I am, and that's why I want to be reelected.
How do you think you'll be able to reconcile this interesting dynamic between the mayor not being in favor of the cost of living increase for retired municipal employees, while the retirement board has recommended so, and that has now gone before a subcommittee for investigation and consideration before the city council? How do you figure you'll look to reconcile those dynamics?
I'll tell you exactly how I've already stated it to the mayor, and I've stated it to the president of the retirement board. I think we need to find compromise. I think we need to find the middle ground. If the middle ground is taking either the FY13 or FY14 rate and implementing that now and leaving it as is instead of escalating it for 3 fiscal years, then let's do it. We did the widower's pension, which was a positive thing. I mean, I fully supported that piece a few weeks back in council. And I think if we all come together, we can come to a decent compromise on the other issue, just like we can on any issue. One of the things that's nice about the Haverhill local government is we do all try to work together, especially in recent years. I think, and that's important. That's very important because we get things done here. And if you compare us, once again, to what goes on at the federal level, nothing's getting done in Congress. It's all getting done in the local and the state level.
When you take a look at what the city of Haverhill has been, and you're a lifelong resident of the city of Haverhill, and with your background and your association with city parks, and you happen to be involved, you're responsible yourself specifically for, I think it's the Mill Street Park. It looks very, very nice, I might add. Are there any things that you think, based upon your association with how, let's say, the Santa Parade has evolved over the year, which you have had a direct involvement with, and with what the condition of the parks happen to be and how those have grown maybe to a beneficial point, are there any things on the horizon that you see will need to change or that we need to pay attention to so that we don't have to go ahead and perhaps be caught by surprise with any expenses down the road that we maybe did not anticipate?
Well, I admire Councilor Mitchison for having beat the drum for so many years over maintaining and the importance of maintaining and devoting capital funds to maintaining what we own right now and run. And I support him in those endeavors, and I think the mayor is finally able to actually do something in that regard now that we've gotten over the worst recession since the Great Depression. We're not out of it yet, but Haverhill actually did okay through that time when other cities and towns did not. We're entering into a new cycle, if you want to call it that, where Haverhill is poised to grow. Haverhill is poised to flourish, whether it's downtown and what might be coming next to Merrimack Street, which was one of my priorities when I first ran. I wanted to see the redevelopment of Merrimack Street. Right now, it looks like that is going to happen, although nobody quite knows publicly what that is at this point. But it sounds positive. Same thing with our parks and recreational facilities. I'm on the board at Winnie-Kinney, on the Winnie-Kinney Foundation. Over the past 10 years, we've improved the castle, the look of the castle, the grounds of the castle, and I came out with an 11-page plan back in the spring to actually further improvements in Winnie-Kinney Park and the Plug Pond area. And I'm very happy because the mayor took that plan seriously, and he actually put $125,000 in this year's budget for park and recreational improvements. A lot of that specifically for Winnie-Kinney and Plug Pond. As a result, we're going to spruce up the front entrance of Winnie-Kinney. We're going to replace the tennis court, or I should say restore the tennis court surface, replace and renovate the tennis court fence. We're going to clean out the brush around the Winnie-Kinney basin and install park benches periodically around the basin. The bathrooms are being renovated down below. This is all happening either this fall or in the spring. And there's a new swing set that accompanies the old playground that does exist at the entrance. Over at Plug Pond, the bathhouse facility is being renovated. And there's so much more that can be done. Just last week I had a meeting with the president of the Appalachian Mountain Club, John Judge, and he talked about a program that I'm going to explore further with the mayor, the councilors, and some local folks to see if we can't collaborate with the Appalachian Mountain Club at Winnie-Kinney and Plug Pond. New England Mountain Bike Association. Right here in Haverhill, we have a resident who belongs to the New England Mountain Bike Association, and he's interested in cutting new trails, blazing trails at Winnie-Kinney.
Well, that'll have to be the last word, but it seems as though things are progressing in a positive manner.
I'm all about making progress in a positive manner.
Very good. Okay, thank you very much. Attorney Tom Sullivan, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Wish you the best of luck in the upcoming election.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.